the fucking my ears. I hate the intro to this.
A trope is a common pattern in a story or a recognizable attribute in a character that conveys information to the audience. A trope becomes a cliche when it's overused. Sadly, some of these who remember the 1990 offensive stereotypes?
Woman in refrigerators. What the hell?
The 1994 issue of Green Lantern number 54, where Kyle Rayner finds that his girlfriend, Alex...
What do you mean, woman in When was this a thing? This was a trope? Woman in refrigerator. I thought it was going to talk about like, oh, I'm stuck in the washing machine type beat.
Wit has been brutally murdered and stuffed into a fridge. Okay, well, I've never actually read Green Lantern, but thankfully...
Shut up if you've never read the comics. Did you... Wait, no. See, me. I'm talking about myself. Okay? I'm talking about myself. If I'm going to talk about a topic, yes, I'm going to admit if I haven't read anything or if I haven't consumed the media, but are you going to stretch out a whole 6-minute video about something you don't know about? Because women in refrigerators, this is the first time I've ever heard this. But let's see. Let's see what Miss Sarkeesian has
Gail
to say.
Simone did, because she began to see a trend. Simone was sick of seeing superheroines who have either been depowered, raped, or cut up and stuck in the refrigerator. In 1999, she created a startling...
What? This was... damn it. Do I have to censor that? I might have to censor that. I might have to. But this is 2011. Back then, people could say whatever they wanted on YouTube because she said the R word.
Long list of over 90 comics that feature female superheroes who suffered a loss of superpowers, brutal violation, or an untimely gruesome death, most often as a plot point for the male hero to seek revenge or further his heroic journey. She called this reoccurring pattern women in refrigerators for obvious reasons.
So instead, nowadays, we do the same thing but to the guys, but it's the main part of the story. Like a girl getting depowered in a show. Actually, no, I see where it's coming from, but nowadays it's like they get depowered for guys, at least. They get depowered and their personalities get worse. I'm pretty sure back then when the girls got depowered was a tragic loss, but now it's played for fucking jokes.
Since it was originally created, the list has continued to grow. I'm just going to show you a few examples. Spider-Man's first love, Gwen Stacy,
but once again,
was thrown off a building by the Green Goblin back in 1973. Despite Spidey swooping in and heroically catching her before she hits the ground, she still died either from...
You made a trope about niggas suffer... Wait, hold up. You made a trope about niggas suffering trauma in media, and somehow the reason why it's a bad trope is because it's happening to women. The reason why it's there is because you need bad things to happen to good people to make the story better. Because in order for a good person to truly be a good person, they experience a bad thing and then they do better. And the stakes are so high that it costed another person's life, which makes the loss even worse. But flipping the script, you have the guys die, which, you know, okay, a male figure in a piece of media dies, cool. But if he dies for like stupid reason, like this right here, this wasn't the stupid reason. Like obviously she didn't have to die because he's Spider-Man. You're supposed to be able to catch her and do everything, but the fact that he was Spider-Man and he couldn't save her made it even more tragic for the overall story, because now we lost a character. But even though in the story do you not know that Gwen Stacy is like one of the best Spider-Women, and she has her own Oh wait, she never read the fucking comics. I forgot.
Whiplash or from shock. Unsurprisingly, this seemingly random death of a significant character outraged fans of the series. The writers chose to kill off an important female character for the sole purpose of giving Peter Parker a more complex and interesting story arc.
That's the point of making oh my god, that's literally the point of a story. That's the point
Batman universe, Stephanie Brown, who's played many characters such as the Spoiler, a female Robin, and also Batgirl, was gruesomely tortured to death with a power drill by Batman's enemy.
Okay, first of all, death in stories is just death in stories. Like my I'm not calling you that again. Oh no, a girl died in Batman's story. Both of his parents died. You're not talking about his mom being dead. You're not talking about his dad being... You probably will talk about his mom being dead, but then just excuse the fact that his dad also died. Same for fucking Spider-Man. Uncle Ben, and in some iterations or at some point, Aunt May as well. You're fucking... Yo.
The Black Mask.
But you
the
know...
highly sexualized images of
Rage
Brown being
bait?
tortured
I don't know.
spanned
You
across
never read the
multiple
fucking
issues.
comics to
Some
know that
fans were
other
so outraged-
multiple people die in these stories. That's just a part of the story of people fucking dying. That's life. That's a...
by this fridging of Batgirl that they refer to this as torture porn. Another strong female superhero who met an untimely and trivial death was Big Barda. She was the leader of the Female Furies and also a member of Birds of Prey and the Justice League. She was married to Mr. Miracle, and interestingly, she was actually physically stronger than her superhero husband.
Okay, so is Rogue and Gambit. Rogue is...
Although Big Barda had all of these superpowers, she was killed in her kitchen with no sign of a real battle. And of course, her death conveniently created a narrative for her husband. He struggled with whether or not to use the anti-life equation, which would allow him to control the willpower of all sentient beings. Big Barda is just one of many female characters whose random and meaningless death was constructed in order to create a more intricate storyline for a male hero. Comic books can be a little bit difficult to follow since characters are killed and then brought back to life, or there's multiple canons in different books for the same character.
But it's the story. Everyone dies. There's male characters that die in stories.
So this doesn't hold true across the board, but
And then because of this woman right here, just know the reason why Joel Miller, I think that's his name, Joel from The Last of Us died is because of Anita Sarkeesian. Because she got into the Naughty Dog's CEO's head.
certainly happens a lot. Women in Refrigerators is one way of making sense of this incredibly complex world by pulling out overarching patterns of the way women are treated in comic books. When Simone released her list in 1999, there was an instant backlash from some comic book fans who thought it was unfair that they were singling out female characters. This criticism happens whenever we point out tropes specifically about women. In this case, comic book fans criticize
Because in
women
order to
Refrigerators-
make it specifically about women, you have to also add the argument that it only happens to women. Every fucking story has someone dying. Someone important dies in every fucking story at some point. Because that's life.
by saying that male heroes get killed and
Bitch.
tortured too, so what's the big deal? The people who run the Women in Refrigerators website responded to this by creating another trope. How much do I love fans? Called Dead Men Defrosting. Comic fan John Bartle explains in cases where male heroes have been altered or appear to die, they usually come back even better than before. Either powerful
So do some women. Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy.
wise or in terms of character development relevancy to the reader. Many popular superheroes fit neatly into the Dead Men Defrosting trope, such as Superman, Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, Barry Allen as the Flash,
Main characters of their stories die and come back.
Spider-Man, Captain America, the Hulk, Nick Fury.
Okay, Hulk literally can't. Bitch, you stupid bitch. The whole point of Hulk is that anger never dies. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Hulk's characters, the fact that that part of your personality, that vitriol anger left unchecked will never fucking die.
Etc., etc. A classic example of this difference applies
Like
even when
hers.
characters are depowered. When Barbara Gordon as Batgirl was shot in the spine by the Joker as a way to drive her father, Commissioner Gordon, insane. She was permanently paralyzed and had to create an entirely new identity for herself. But when Batman's back was
Oh, but then Rhodey from Iron Man, she's gonna make a story. Yeah. They get, oh, the character suffers a loss and they heal, but then other people don't.
broken over supervillain Bane's knee,
Yeah, man.
he fully recovered.
Let's have a comic book where Batman is just fighting crime in a wheelchair. Does that make any fucking sense? Many points.
Simone
I
responds
don't
to this
think Batgirl
criticism by
ever
saying,
healed,
first,
actually.
there's always
Yeah,
been a
let me
larger
shut the
selection
fuck
of
up
male
before I sound
characters, so a
stupid.
handful killed made barely a ripple. Second, they didn't seem to be killed in the same way. They tended to die heroically, to go down fighting. Whereas in many cases, the super ladies were simply found on the kitchen table already carved up. The writers of these comics treat similar narrative situations very differently
You single out a single character from a fringe part of the DC universe. I don't know much about the Fatal Furies.
based on the character's gender.
Or Mystery Man.
And it seems to be faring much worse for the women. While the Women in Refrigerators trope originated in the comic book genre, it can be applied across other pop culture mediums such as video games, TV shows, and movies. For example, Libby and Shannon on Lost were murdered specifically to push the story arc of two male characters. Or how about all these women from Heroes who were depicted as either losing or being unable to control their...
Oh my god. I got into an argument with Sophia the other day. It's funny. So, Kristen Stewart. Wait, is this Kristen Stewart? No, not Chris. What's her fucking name? Kristen Bell. There we go. Ew, Kristen Stewart, wrong one. Kristen Bell, right? I told her when I was younger, I thought Kristen Bell was the hottest girl ever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's Kristen Bell. Why do I hear
their
that
power.
damn
In video games such as God of War 1, Splinter Cell, and Fable 2, the narrative revolves around a man seeking revenge for the death of female family members. And there are plenty more examples. Writers are using the women in refrigerators trope to literally trade a female character's life for the benefit of a male character's story arc. They're making clear that women, even powerful female superheroes, are basically disposable. It's important to remember that these comics don't
No, see, these are talking points that give us characters like Captain Marvel, bro.
exist in a vacuum, that they're created by artists and writers who live in the same sexist social systems that we all do, and that's reflected in the characters and the stories. It's saddening to see how flippantly and trivially violence against women is treated in comic book pages, even with the most powerful of female superheroes, especially when violence against women in the real world are at epidemic levels.
Chat, back in 2011, how many women you knew were getting their ass beat to the point of dying? Like, I don't want to say this to minimize what was happening in the world, but like, I'm talking about in America, because, you know, back then, the overarching argument was for people in other countries too, like in Iran, Afghanistan, all those other places in the Istanbul, probably, I don't know. But in America, these were not real things, and then the pendulum has swung so far that some bitches think it's fine swinging on their guys. In the past, when quote-unquote men, not to justify it because it's bad, but women didn't put their hands on men either, or the consensus was you shouldn't put your hands on each other. Now it's okay for the woman to put hands on the guy because of all the years when the other niggas in the past used to hit them, which is just like, no, that's not how it works. We should not. The baseline is don't hit each other, because how are you gonna love each other if you be beating the shit out of each other?
We have to remember that the Women in Refrigerators list was created for us to identify, understand, and resist the variety of ways that women and our fictional representations are disempowered and victimized. I'm not saying women can't ever die in comic books, but it matters how and why they die. So comic book, TV and movie writers, and video game producers, stop relying on stereotypical tropes, stop using violence against women as a way to further the storyline of your male hero, and start writing us as full and complete human beings.
Write that
Okay?
down, write that down.
Okay.
There was actually someone. Think about that. There was actually someone at some point in the past that actually wrote this shit down, and this is where we're at now.